Good morning, student. How are you? Today, in this video, I've decided to teach you a new poem. And the name of the poem is An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum. This is written by Stephen Spender. In this poem, the poet has thrown light on the social injustice and class inequalities. He said through this poem that there are many children who don't have any privilege in the school, and their school are situated in a slum area, and this student, they also live in a slum area where they don't have any privilege. Some of the things in the classroom are donated by the rich people, the important or the powerful people of the society. So he is saying even these children, they are having dreams, but in fact they don't have even basic need also, like clothes, house, and a good food to eat. And the society must come forward to help these children, because even they are having dreams. At least these children, they should have privilege to play in the open sunshine, to enjoy the beautiful sky. So he is telling that there are many important persons in a society, like teachers are there, magistrate are there, then many people from the political parties are there who can play an important role to give happiness to these children. And he is telling that they have also full right to play in a beautiful garden or in a park, and so that they can also be happy. So I'm going to explain the poem now, and you will feel that how sad is the life of these children who are living in a slum area. Even they have a dream which cannot be fulfilled. Even they want to play in a sunshine under a blue sky, but they are not allowed to go to that particular area. People neglect them. Society neglect them. So what should be done to these children? So let's see and let's read that what the poet has to tell in the poem. So I'm going to begin the poem. So let's pay attention. So this poem is starting with those children who are sitting in an elementary slum school in one row. Only one classroom is there where many children are sitting, and they look pathetic and miserable. There is no glow in their faces. Their faces is pale, and their disorderly hairs look like rootless weeds. Some of the children can be seen that they are having twisted bones, which is inherited by their parents. So some of, because of the lack of nutritious food, these children, they have inherited some of the disease of their parents. They belong to the dirty world of cramped holes. And the poet is telling the map of the world on the wall symbolizes the world of the powerful, rich, and important people. There are two types of word he had emphasized. One is the powerful word of the rich and important people who had drawn the map of the world with their own hand, and second is the word of these people who lives in the slum area. The gap between the two words can be abridged if these children are removed from their dirty surroundings, and they should come and play in the fresh air, and they should also have a mental and physical development. Now He also told that these children also have some dream. Like when the poet started, he is telling a girl is there who is very tall and a small boy is there. It also means that they are being sent to the school, and there all the type of children of all the ages are sitting in one classroom. People have given different types of gifts to them as donation, like the picture of Shakespeare's head, which is hung in that dirty creamy wall of the classroom, but these are useless to these children. And then he is telling the windows, their own windows are very dirty, their walls are dirty. I mean to say, there is unpleasant surrounding from their word. They are doomed to live in a narrow streets closed in by the bluish grey sky. Their word is far away from river and stars. They had no interest in Shakespeare, nor the word map them do them any good. And they feel that this map have nothing to do with them. It is not their word. So, and they know that this world is full of attraction. There are beautiful shapes, warmth of the sun, fragrance of flower, and love is there. But then this is useless to these children. They entice other children, but for them it is useless. They are only tempted to live in their own miserable, and their life start with the fog of uncertainty and end with the endless night of their death. So, children, the poet tells that they feel that they are blot on the civilized world. The civilized world is the world of the rich and the great or the powerful people. And the map of the civilized world and the slum of these unfortunate children are the two entirely different worlds. Now the poet at end, as I told you, he won't, in fact it is his request to the powerful person like governors, inspectors, visitor, teachers and other important person of the society to abridge this gift. They must also think about these children. They must also see the situation of their world and the children who are living in the slum. They must know the difficulties and the depression of their world, and they must realize that the unsuitable environment has closed all the progress in their world. So he warned them that they should be allowed to come out of their narrow lanes and dirty slums of the town. They should also enjoy the beauty of the green field. Their world should extend to the sky, blue waves rising over the golden sand. And he warned that they should also enjoy the beautiful nature like the other children of the other world. And finally he is telling that let their tongue express themselves freely without any check or fear, because only those people make or create history whose language has the warmth and strength of the sun. Only those people can create history who are quite worthy, and he feel that some of these children they are also quite worthy, of which the words pay no attention. So now I explain the first part of the first stanza of the poem. And I've already told you about the first in my earlier video, but let me explain once more. Far, far from gusty waves these children faces like rootless weeds, the hair torn round their pallor, the tall girl with her weighed down head, the paper seeming boy with rat's eyes. The stunted, unlucky ear of twisted bones, reciting a father gnarled disease, his lesson from his decks. At back of the dim class, one unnoted, sweet and young. His eyes live in a dream of a squirrel's game in tree room other than this. So here the writer is telling, the poet is telling here that far, far from gusty wave. Now children, you see far, far, these two words are repeated. And he is telling that these children, some of these children of the slum area, they are sitting in an elementary school classroom which is there in the slum area, far from gusty waves. So children, far is repeated 2 times here, and I will tell you later that this is a example of a metaphor, the poetic devices. How this I will tell you later when I will be explaining the poetic devices of the poem. So he is telling that far away, that means their school, the slum area is very far away from the reach of fresh air or waves blowing strongly. These children, they are sitting in the school classroom in a slum area which is very far away from the winds of waves blowing strongly. Far from gusty wave, these children faces like rootless weave, the hair torn around their pallor. So the faces and hair, now the poet is telling about their faces and hair. The faces of these children look pale. There's no glow, there's no shiningness because of 2 reasons: because of lack of fresh air and because a lack of not getting proper food and nutritious food. Their hairs are uncombed and unkempt hair, look like rootless wild plant. So their hair, there is no shiningness in their faces, and their hair which is not combed, they are having uncombed hair, and which look as if it is a rootless wind which is lying here and there. Their uncombed and unkempt hair look like the winds, they look like rootless wild plant. And I told you the meaning of pallor is a pale faces. That means their faces has lost all the glow. A child has a glow in their face. Their face is shiningness. They are having twinkling eyes. But these children, they have lost this glow, and their hair are uncombed, and we feel when we look their hair that as if they are the weeds, rootless wild plants are lying here and there. The tall girl with her weighed down head. Now on the paper seeming boy. Now paper seeming means very thin, and the meaning of way down, that means depressed due to the burden or sadness. Now children, he is telling, he is throwing light on 2 children. So one is a girl who is very tall, which indicate maybe she was elder than the other children, and it might also tell that she was very tall and she was very thin, and she is looking down. Her head is weighed down by the burdens of the world. Burdens here by the depression, by the sadness of the world. She feels depressed, she feel ill and she feel exhausted. Now children, he is also describing another boy. Now he is written one word, the paper seeming boy. Paper seeming means thin like a paper. Now there was a small cute small little boy was there, but he was as thin as the paper with rat's eyes. His eyes was greedy, or his eyes was bulging, and it was greedy like rat. Like rat, they always want to have something. They are deprived of all the good things from the world. So this boy's eyes, from his boy's eyes, looked at as if he also wanted to have so many things like good toys, good clothes, and he had been described that he is very thin. Very thin, that means he is not having enough food to eat, with rat's eyes. Rat's eyes, if you will see it, you will see that it is a bulging eye, and every time they are greedy. The stunted unlucky ear of twisted bones. The stunted unlucky ear of twisted bone. And children, that lean and thin boy who is having a rat's eyes and had a stunted growth is the unlucky ear. That means he will soon be developed, that small boy soon will inherit the disease of twisted bone from his father. And why he will inherit? Because of the lack of food, or because getting a very small amount of food and not getting nutritious food. So very soon he is also going to inherit twisted bone disease from his father. And what the stunted boy is reciting? He is reciting a lesson from his decks. He is enumerating systematically how his father developed the naughty disease. So children, here the two children who are sitting in the dim classroom, in the dark classroom, and that sweet young boy sits at the back of this dim classroom where they don't have proper light. There is a darkness in the classroom. He sits there unnoticed. At back of the dim class, one unnoted. That means he is sitting, that a small boy, he is sitting in the dim classroom and nobody is able to notice him. He is sitting at the back, sweet and young. He is very small and he is very sweet. His eyes live in a dream of a squirrel game. Now children, that sweet young boy who sits at the back of this classroom, he seems to be hopeful. He dreams of a better time, though he is not having that time. He is not able to enjoy that time, but he is a bit hopeful. He is hoping that one day their dreams might be fulfilled. He will also go to play outdoor game of a squirrel game of a room made inside the stem of a tree. And he dreams of many things other than this dim and unpleasant classroom, like such as green field, open seas, the beautiful waves of the sea. So he is dreaming all that thing. I mean to say, he is dreaming of a beautiful world of nature, like when he is thinking to go and play in the beautiful world where there is a lot of sunshine is there, when there is a beautiful waves of the sea is there, where there are green field and open seas. So, and he is also dreaming that there is a tree room and there is a squirrel room in a tree, or where the squirrel, and that squirrel is dwelling in a tree, which excite his imagination, and he is thinking that he is having a squirrel dream. So instead of playing and with a nice toy, enjoying the beautiful sunshine and nature, they are sitting in an elementary school where they don't have any facilities, and only they can fulfill they cannot, even their dreams cannot be fulfilled, so they are simply imagining in the form of a small boy. It indicates the children, they don't have any happiness in their life, only sometime they used to imagine about the happiness. So this is the meaning of the first stranger. Now second, on sour cream walls, donations, Shakespeare's head, cloudless at dawn, civilized doom riding all cities, belled flowery, Tri-Rolles Valley, open-handed map, avoiding the words it word, and yet for these children, these window, not this map, their word, were all their future painted with a fog. A narrow street sealed in with a lead sky, far from rivers, cap and stars of word. So first I will be telling you about the new words. So our first word here is on sour cream. Our first word here is, as you can see, the first line of the second stanza, on sour cream. So sour means unpleasant. Here the meaning of sour, here it means unpleasant. Cream walls. Cream walls means dirty wall. The wall had been not whitewashed from many years, so it has become creamish. The white wall had turned into creamish color. That means the wall had not been whitewashed for several years. Donations. Now children, here donation means the gifts given by, some of the gifts given by the rich people of the beautiful world. So like Shakespeare had, that means they had donated one of the picture or a statue of Shakespeare head. A picture might be there which was hung on the wall, and it is showing the picture, the head, I mean the face of the Shakespeare. Who was Shakespeare? He was one of the greatest novelists of the world. He is one of the most prominent figure of English literature. So he is telling, the poet is telling that on sour cream wall, that means sour is unpleasant, and cream wall means the wall has been not painted for several years. There was no whitewash, so the wall had turned into cream color. From white color it has turned into cream color. Donations means here some of the things were given by the rich people to the deprived ones for their school, like the Shakespeare head, that means a picture of Shakespeare where only his face is being shown. Cloudless at dawn. Now dawn means here early morning before the sunrise. Dawn here means early morning before the sunrise. Civilized dome. Now dome is the upper portion of the building, like you can see the round shaped dome of the mosque, isn't it? So that dome, that there the some of the good institution, they were having a dome on the building. So civilized dome means here institution or the school of the civilized world. Belt, having belt. Tri-Rolles Valley. So this valley in Tyrol is in Austria. Tri-Rolles Valley is, this valley is believed is the valley in Tyrol in Austria. Open-handed map. Open-handed map. Okay. So here open-handed map. Open-handed map means Map of the world drawn at will. Okay, like children, there were many great personalities who had changed the map of the world. Map of the world means, like I'm giving you the example of Hitler. He had occupied many countries, so the map of the Germany was changed. That occupied country were also included in the city of Germany, in the country of Germany. So there were many person who had changed the world map. They were the powerful person who had changed the world map. And the example I've given you, the example of Hitler, who had defeated many countries in a war, and hence changed the map of Germany. Those countries were also included in the map of Germany. Now the poet is telling that its word means the word as partitioned by the conquerors. Like just now I have given you the example of Hitler. So the map was divided, it was partitioned by the conquerors. These children. Now these children, the children are there. These children means the children of the slum area. This window, not this map, their word. This window, that means the school. Their map was only the school. They don't know, they are not aware of the other word. Now let me see what are the other new words here. Where all their future painted with a fog. Now children, here fog means thick mist. That means uncertain future. Indirectly, here fog means their future is painted with a fog. Fog here means uncertain future. Narrow street sealed in with a lead sky. So here their street is narrow. They are having very narrow houses, very small houses, and very the street is there which is not clean and which is not thick. It is not broad street, it is very narrow street, and it is sealed in. Means it is closed in. Lead sky, that means bluish gray sky. Now children, here one thing I would like to say, that means the sky is gray here, and gray resembles sadness. Gray is that color which always resemble sadness. So lead sky. Lead is the part of the pencil. The pointer of the pencil is of grayish color, and that color is compared with the sky. That means the sky is not a blue color which indicate happiness, but here the sky is of gray color which indicate sadness. Far means far away. Caps, a part of the highland sticking out into the sea. Cap here means, see, after river one word cap is there. It is not the cap which we put on the head. It means here a part of the highland is sticking out into the sea. So this is the meaning of cap here. So now the explanation part. I have told you the meaning of the new words. On sour cream walls, donations. Shakespeare head. Cloudless at dawn. Civilized dome brightening all cities. Now on sour cream wall. Now here the wall is described as a sour and cream. So cream here means the dull color. The wall has become dirty due to not being washed for many years. That means lack of money is there in the school. And sour mean, I told, unpleasant. The wall, that means the atmosphere of the inside of the classroom is not very good, not very pleasant. Sour means not good, unpleasant. So if you will enter in the classroom, you will find the classroom is not very good. It is unpleasant, it has unpleasant atmosphere, and the walls are very dirty. That means it has been not whitewashed for several years. The color of the classroom walls suggests that the life of children in the slum school is pathetic, and they go there and they are not happy. The condition is very pathetic and sympathetic. So as Shakespeare had, now there are two things are the picture of Shakespeare and the high rising domes are there. So children, the this picture of Shakespeare is given to them in a donation. Some rich people must have donated to the school of the slum area, but this picture, it don't have any value to the children. They are not aware that who was Shakespeare. In fact, they are not interested. And the other thing is described as a civilized dome riding all cities. Civilized dome is a high rising dome of the good school, and this good school demonstrate a civilized world. So the poet is comparing here the dirty classroom of the slum area and the beautiful building of the school of the civilized world. So which is full of facilities, it is full of hygiene condition is maintained here in the school, where the condition of the classroom of the slum area is very dirty. The whitewash has not been there. The atmosphere inside the classroom is not good. It is very unpleasant compared to the school of the city, where bell flowery, where you can see lot of musics of are being played in the school of the city area, and there are beautiful fragrance of flower is spread all over the Tyrolis Valley. Tyrolis Valley, as I told you, it is in Australia. So two types of school are compared here, the school of the slum area and the school of the important and powerful people of the city, and there is a lot of difference. Here you can see the facilities is not there, hygiene is not maintained, because creamy walls indicate that there is no facility. The school don't have any money so that there could be any development inside the classroom, while as the school which is there in the beautiful valley of Australia is full of facilities, full of hygiene is maintained in the school there. Now the other paragraph, the third stanza, the other line I will be discussing in my next video, so please wait for it. And this is for this video only. Thank you and have a nice day ahead. Bye bye.